Greetings. My name is Kamoya Benjamin. Welcome to today's Peak Performance Secrets Lunch and Learn. And I'm excited to share with you on today's topic, which is how your mouth keeps you broke. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. How your mouth keeps you broke. And I'll be sharing with you 3 statements that you need to stop using. You need to become aware of this, and you need to stop using these 3 statements, especially when you're talking about yourself and when you are talking about your life, and even when you're referring to other people. Now, why is this conversation important? 1, because if you find that you're running in cycles in your life, you almost never hit your potential, look out. There's something that's happening and it's coming from your mouth. If you constantly make big plans, but then you don't understand how you don't arrive at your destination, and yet you've put everything that is needed for you to get that result, and you don't get the outcome that you know is possible, watch out, because there's something that's happening and it's probably coming from your mouth. This is an important conversation, especially for somebody who wants to step into peak performance and create the results that they know are possible for them, for you, in your life. This is important because until you master what exactly is happening that is as a result of my mouth, until you understand how this small part of your body is so critical to the unfoldment of your potential and of your future, you will continue to chase your tail, wondering what is happening, blaming everyone, but having no answer because you're the cause of all that's happening. You see, we are created. Where are we getting our blueprint from? We are created in the image and the likeness of God. What that means is that if you take a rubber stamp, it has a print on top of it. Is that okay? And you take that print and you stamp it on a piece of paper. What do you get? You get an impression. You get an image of what is on this rubber stamp. So if you take this and stamp it on this image and then stamp it on another page. So on this page you stamp, you flip the paper, you stamp it on another page. Can you compare the two and say which one came even first if you were not in the room? No, you wouldn't know. And so my understanding, when the scriptures say that we are created in the image of God, in the image and the likeness of God, it is that there are specific capabilities that God has that He found it amazing and awesome to give those capacities to us. And one of those capacities that I love most, that is the subject that I'm constantly seeking to understand, is the creative process in man. Because God is a creator and He's created us in His image. And so when we're talking about how your mouth keeps you broke, it is a conversation about the creative process. Because if we were to flip this title, it can also read how your mouth keeps you rich, abundant, prosperous, whatever that may be. If you want to use your mouth specifically as a tool to create abundance, to create outcomes that you believe are possible for you, you want to stay tuned in. Now, most of the times, human beings are more afraid. They are more afraid of other people knowing what they think. We feel so safe when people do not have access to our thinking, because we can think all the nasty things that we can think about other people, and they will not necessarily have to get into our mind and read what's going on in there. But we're not as afraid of what proceeds out of our mouth. Because I can tell you this. The life that you're living right now is a sum total of the conversations that come out of your mouth. I'll say that again. The life that you're living right now is a sum total plus minus. You remember BODMAS, brackets of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. That's the life you're living right now, of everything that proceeds out of your mouth. Everything that proceeds out of your mouth, just BODMAS it. That's the life that you're living today. And the question that I have for you, even as you're tuning in today, is what happens when you open your mouth? What happens when you open your mouth? Because as much as there's conversation about there's so much power when you don't say anything and you keep your mouth shut, there's as much power when you keep your mouth shut as when you open it. What happens when you open your mouth? Because when you open your mouth in the creative process, creation is waiting. The agents of creation are waiting. They are viewing you as a master. They are viewing you as somebody whose instruction they need to obey. And so when you open your mouth, everything that you're saying is being implemented. It's being actioned. It's being followed through. I want to show you something here. Really powerful. David, who killed Goliath, wrote this in the book of Psalm chapter 8. Let's look at it together. Psalm chapter 8. And I've highlighted it in yellow. And he's reflecting on this and saying, what is man? What is that? What is you who's watching me? David is talking about you. And he's saying, what is it about Benjamin? And for you as well. They're just so mindful of him. That you care for him. And verse 5 says, you have made him but a little lower than God or heavenly beings. Some scriptures translate it a little lower than the angels. And you have crowned him with glory and honor. And you have made him to have dominion over the work of your hands. You have put all things under his feet. And so if we've been given this power by God, our Creator, it is for a purpose. And when you look at the creative faculty, every time we speak, we are creating. Now, the tongue is what we use to actually get words out. The tongue is what we use to get our words out. Now, thoughts are powerful. Thoughts are potent. They are potent. They are powerful, You can have, you can dream as much as you can about building a skyscraper. You can dream as much as you can. You can imagine as much as you can about building a skyscraper. And not much will happen. Your life could just go by with many imaginations. How many things do you imagine? One day, daydreaming and all that. And your mind is at work. And all those thoughts are potent. They are potent. In the creative process, they are potent. You may have imaginations of a certain outcome in terms of your finances, in terms of your family, where you will build, what you will do, and where you will, all that. You can have all the imaginations you want about the holidays you want to take. Those thoughts are potent. They are potent. They are potential. It's not yet at a place where it can manifest. But let me tell you, the moment you begin to open your mouth and speak and say what it is that you are wanting and begin to declare, you've moved into a very powerful place, which is the place of a creator. The place of a creator. I would imagine that if you go back to Genesis chapter 1 and look at the creation process and what God is doing, when he's saying, let there be light, that's not the first time he's like, oh, light. Oh, so that's how you look like. Wow, you're bright. I never imagined you would look like that. Do you think that's what's happening? No. Light is coming out based on his imagination, based on what he already has conceptualized in his thinking. Let there be birds, let there be beasts of the field, let there be, let there be, let there be, let there be, let there be. He's already imagined, he's already fashioned, he's already conceived it in his mind. Now, in his creative power, and there was, and there was, and there was, and there was. And so your mouth is keeping you broke because you are confessing, you are declaring the things that you don't want. What business do you have? What business do you have punching commands into your computer if you don't want the outcomes that it's going to bring you? What business do you have selecting your document and pressing delete? What do you expect is going to happen? What business do you have opening your mouth and saying these three statements? And I want you to stop saying these three statements. The first one is, I don't deserve. I don't deserve. How many times have I heard people use that word? I don't deserve. It's already so potent when you're thinking about it. It's lethal when you communicate it, when you verbalize it, when you speak it. Because then that word goes on a rampage. That word goes on an assignment to bring to fulfillment whatever it is that you've declared. Don't we understand this very well in our African culture and context? That we revere the words of our elders, that those words shall surely come to pass. How is a curse transferred? How is a blessing transferred? It's a word. It's a word from a person with authority and dominion. And they speak it. And for sure, it comes to pass. So again, I'm going to ask you, what happens when you open your mouth? Are you making agreement with limitation, lack? Are you making agreement with the things you don't want? I can surprise you by telling you the number of times when I'm sitting with some of my clients on coaching calls and I'm asking them. And they're saying, but you don't understand. And they tell me, yeah, I hear you, Benjamin, but. Yeah, but. Yeah, but. And they negate right there. I'm giving them a statement confirming their power and potential. And they look at their current conditions and circumstances and they're like, yeah, you can say that because you're the one on the camera there. Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, but you don't know my circumstances, but you don't know, I don't deserve, but you don't know my problem. Are you tuning in when you open your mouth to speak? So that you don't negate. What exactly you are seeking. You don't negate. You don't make agreement with a limitation. You don't make agreement with something that does not serve you. You don't make agreement with anything that is not your highest good and that which you seek after. That's how your mouth is keeping you broke. You speak through your tongue, but you verbalize what is already in your consciousness. You speak through your tongue and you verbalize what is in your consciousness. What is coming out of your mouth? What happens when you open your mouth? There are 3 statements, and I mentioned that I would share them with you very quickly, even as we come to the end of this broadcast. If you've been using these statements when you are in any conversation, there are many statements you need to watch out for, but these, I think, are the deadly ones. Have a look at this. The first one is, I don't deserve. How many times have you heard people say this? I don't know what is wrong with me. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what is wrong with me. Guess what? Wrong happens to you. Wrong becomes you. Oh, you want wrong? I'm going to show you wrong. Oh, you don't deserve. I'm going to show you what don't deserve. I'm going to give you that. And the most classic, my problem is, my problem is that, my problem is. These are 3 statements that you should delete and step into a conscious awareness, a heightened awareness of your consciousness, so that these 3 statements should never be heard coming out of your mouth. They should never be heard coming out of your mouth. By your words, you're creating your destiny. By your words, you're creating your destiny. By your words, you're creating your destiny. God says that my word shall not return to me void. That word, it shall not come back to me void. The word has an assignment. And I believe that we are equally gifted and powerful like that. The power of life and death is where? It's in the tongue. And so, in the peak performance conversation, you need to be alert, number 1, of what you're thinking about. Because what you're thinking about puts you into the body posture. What you're thinking about puts you into that, into that chemical effect, chemical space in your body where, your body follows your thoughts. I doubt whether it's possible for you to think happy thoughts and have your shoulders shrug. I mean, I don't know how can I smile and have my shoulders shrugged down? How can I be smiling and my shoulders are? I don't know. It's your physiology. Your entire physique follows your thinking. And so let your thinking first be tuned so that you're conscious and aware of what you're thinking. And then the words that are going to come through your mouth ought to make agreement with your creative power. They ought to make agreement with your resourced state. They ought to make agreement with the highest truth about who you are and whose you are. Not with the circumstances around you. Those circumstances will change. Especially as you continue to tune into these peak performance secrets. Those circumstances, the conditions, they will change. I know that to be so true because mine changed. As soon as I began to observe the words that were coming out of my mouth and being so conscious, learn the patterns. Learn the patterns of your thinking, learn the patterns of your speaking, and begin to see your life shift. Again, 3 statements that you need to cut, in addition to the many others that negate your greatness, that make agreement with a limitation. I don't deserve. Don't use that. The problem, my problem is that. Don't use that. What's the third one? What was the third one? I don't know what is wrong with me. I don't know what is wrong with me. Do not use those statements about you and even about others. What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong. Tune into that and become more aware. Thank you so much for watching today's broadcast, How Your Mouth Keeps You Broke. And it's all about becoming aware of our thinking patterns, becoming aware of our speaking patterns, and beginning to shift that. Because we are created in the image of God. We are creative. You are creative. I am creative. And I'm always creating in all ways, always and in all ways. Create by design what you want, not by default. Not by default what you don't want. Blessings, be well, and bye for now.